This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you need a website or domain, go to squarespace.com/Simon. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. You know, photographers of certain genres are obsessed with reach. We just want things bigger in the frame. We buy longer lenses, we buy teleconverters, we buy crop sensor cameras, and we use crop mode. And if all else fails, we crop the image even more when we get home. But here's the problem. When photographers talk about reach, we're often talking about completely different things. Do we mean making the subject larger in the frame? Or do we mean putting more pixels on the subject? Or do we mean capturing more actual detail in the image? This is a problem because these are not necessarily the same things, even though we loosely use the term reach as if they are. Today I'm going to compare the 5 most common ways photographers try to get more reach and rank them based on 4 different criteria. Bigger subject in the frame, pixels on the subject, details on the subject, and the background rendering. Let's see who wins. My name is Simon d'Entremont and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for wildlife and nature photography. Subscribe if you want to see more.
Open up your mind sometimes. You'll be just fine.
Okay, before we get into this, let's get some things out of the way. You see, before we talk about reach, we need to talk about magnification, because this is where many photographers get confused. Imagine that I have a photo of a bird that's 1,000 pixels tall. Now imagine I enlarge that image so that the bird appears twice as large on my screen. Did I capture any additional detail? No, the bird is larger, but the amount of information in the image hasn't changed. I've simply stretched the existing information over a larger area. This is why digital zoom doesn't magically reveal more detail. And this is why photographers often confuse magnification with image quality. A larger subject is not necessarily a more detailed subject. And that's the idea that will guide the rest of this video, because what most photographers actually want isn't more reach. They want more detail. Which methods, gear choices, and techniques actually deliver on that? Let's start with the easiest and most basic one, cropping. Cropping absolutely makes the subject larger in the frame. In fact, it may look identical to using a longer lens, but it does not increase the number of pixels on the subject. Here I can crop into this image that starts at 8192 by 6454, but I clearly end up with fewer pixels. Although the cropped image has a larger subject, if I compare it to the original, it does not increase detail. And it doesn't change the background rendering. The background looks the same too. It's simply a larger view of the same information. Did it provide a bigger subject? It did. More pixels on subject? No benefit. More details on the subject? No benefit. And background rendering? No benefit. Now this is where things become more interesting and maybe surprising for some. Many cameras have a crop mode, which is just an in-camera crop, exactly like the same as cropping on your computer. It does not pack more pixels into a smaller space. The subject becomes larger in the final image, but the camera isn't capturing any additional information. This is just a crop and stretch, so no extra detail, just like cropping on your computer. So let's look at the score. Does it provide a bigger subject? Excellent. It does get the subject bigger in the frame. Pixels on subject? No. The resolution remains the same. Detail on subject? Again, no. Since there are no more pixels on the image, this is just an image stretch. And background rendering? No change. The final image, before and after enlargement, has the same background relative to the subject. I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. I built my very own website using Squarespace and it was really easy. A website is just a great way to have a professional place online where you can show off your work, or your service, or your personal brand. Social media are often showing you or your work in short clips or thumbnail photos and makes it difficult to monetize, as most of them don't want links to external sites. A website is a permanent home for you and your work, presented in galleries or on pages designed by you to show them off at their best, not what's good for the algorithm. There are lots of useful templates, including ones for specific genres like photography, which is mine, or if you're more daring and artistic, you can go outside the templates using the new AI feature called Squarespace Blueprint to help lead you through curating your own build. It guides you through the steps. It's also a great way to monetize your work by setting up an online store so you can take payments by credit card or PayPal from all over the world. And now with a new feature of buy now and pay later with ClearPay and Afterpay. Go to squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Simon for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now let's look at the third way to get more reach. Smaller sensors. Now these take a smaller crop of the image circle created by the lens into the camera body. When this smaller crop is viewed full screen on your back LCD, computer, tablet, or phone, it has an enlargement effect. So yes to does it make it larger? Now whether or not this creates a more detailed image is another question. And what it depends on is how many pixels. But not how many pixels on the whole sensor. It depends on the number of pixels on the smaller sensor compared to cropping the larger sensor to the same field of view. Does this whole small sensor have more pixels than this cropped larger sensor? This comes down to what's called the pixel density. How many pixels are crammed into this 16 by 24 space on a crop sensor camera compared to a 16 by 24 millimeter crop of a 24 by 36 millimeter sensor? A 45 megapixel full frame sensor like a Canon R5 cropped to APS-C size leaves about 18 megapixels. Therefore, any APS-C camera above 18 megapixels has a higher pixel density and puts more pixels on distant subjects than a 45 megapixel full frame camera. That's one reason a camera like the Canon R7 at 32.5 megapixels APS-C size sensor can outperform an R5 at 45 megapixels for small distant birds, despite the R5 having more total megapixels. If the APS-C camera has a higher pixel density than the full frame camera, then it may actually place more pixels on the subject. That means it can potentially capture more detail. If you're looking for an easy way to compare two sensor sizes for pixel density, compare the size of the actual pixels. A Canon R5 has 4.39 micron pixels and a Canon R7 3.20 micron. So the R7 with smaller pixels has more detail at the same field of view, that is, cropped to the same size subject. So for the reach score, does it provide a bigger subject? It sure does, excellent. Pixels on subject? If it has a higher pixel density. Details on the subject, again, if a higher pixel density. And what about background rendering? And background rendering, there's no change here. It's just a crop with no perspective change unless the photographer moves. And in this scenario, we're comparing reach where you can't move. Now, teleconverters are going to bring in a new feature, optical magnification. You see, when you use crop mode or just crop on your computer, you lose pixels. These ones on the edges are lost forever. So you take a photo, stretch it, crop out the sides, you end up with a lower detail file. But with optical magnification, you enlarge the image first optically, then take a photo, a crop, using all of the pixels of your sensor. So you end up with a larger file with more pixels and more detail. But there's a but, a few. The downside is that teleconverters aren't optically free. One, you lose light. One stop for a 1.4 teleconverter and two stops for 2 times. That's twice and 4 times the ISO respectively. Also, autofocus may slow down. And image quality can go down depending on the lens and teleconverter combination. The trick is your lens needs to be super sharp so that even if you peer deeper into it, it's still sharp. So teleconverters should only be used with prime lenses and premium zooms, not with kit lenses or mid-price zooms. So for score, bigger subject? True. Pixels on subject. This is actually rated as excellent, as you will always have more pixels on the subject, but the details may not be there. So for details on the subject, the rating is excellent with sharp premium lenses, all the way to no benefit to poor for entry-level lenses. And background rendering, while it does lose 1 stop of aperture, using a teleconverter on a sharp lens does render the background differently, with better bokeh than cropping, because the entrance pupil stays the same while the focal length increases. So yes, advantage teleconverter. Now we're talking about the traditional definition of reach. A longer lens projects a larger image into the sensor with all of the benefits that I described of optical magnification, like a teleconverter. That's because, again, the image will be optically enlarged, and then we will apply all of the pixels of the sensor onto that enlarged image. so we get an enlarged subject and higher resolution. This is why wildlife photographers invest so heavily in long lenses. If I get 1,000 pixels on a subject at 500 millimeters, a 600 millimeter lens will show me that I'll get 1,440 pixels on the subject, 44% more. But again, this isn't free of any optical costs. Longer lenses have a weakness that many photographers overlook: the atmosphere. Heat shimmer, humidity, dust, and haze. The longer the distance between you and your subject, the more atmosphere exists between the two. And at some point, the atmosphere becomes the limiting factor rather than the lens. This is why an 800 millimeter lens doesn't always produce twice as much detail as a 400 millimeter lens. Like in this footage of mine photographing elephants on the dry Lake Amboseli lakebed in Kenya. There is no amount of longer lens and magnification that will make this any better. So let's score this option. Longer lens will create a bigger subject. Excellent. Pixels on subject. Like a teleconverter, the photo is taken after optical magnification, so more pixels on target. Excellent. But will these more pixels create any more detail? Usually excellent, but minus any atmospheric limitations. In background rendering, usually excellent, as longer focal lengths create thinner depths of field and nice, blurrier, smoother backgrounds. And now we arrive at the cheapest method: getting closer. Getting closer makes the subject larger, it places more pixels on the subject, it often captures more detail, and it reduces atmospheric distortion. In many situations, getting closer will produce a larger improvement in image quality than buying a longer lens, as you tend to get a little more resolving power combined with less atmospheric distortion. Of course, this is genre specific. Wildlife photographers know the challenge. Animals don't always cooperate, and getting closer to that leopard might be both dangerous or ethically problematic. Sometimes getting closer just isn't possible. But from a purely photographic perspective, getting closer is one of the most powerful forms of reach available, with few drawbacks and lots of advantage, as it's still a form of optical enlargement, not a digital one. So far as for score, getting closer, bigger subject, excellent. Pixels on subject, excellent. Details on subject, excellent. And background rendering, also excellent, as getting closer allows for thinner depths of field. In photos where you want that, you can have it, and where you don't, you can stop the lens down. The best of both worlds. As for final verdicts, it's hard to give you one ranking because reach isn't one thing, as we've seen. If your goal is simply making the subject larger in the frame, then almost any of these methods will work. But the forms of digital enlargement, like cropping and crop mode in your camera, are last in terms of image detail. If your goal is putting more pixels on the subject, the ranking changes. Optical enlargement and longer lenses, teleconverters, and getting closer wins, as well as pixel-dense, smaller sensors. And if your goal is changing the relationship between the subject and the background at the same time, then longer lenses and teleconverters become far more important, as well as the getting closer option. So the next time somebody tells you they need more reach, the first question you should ask is, what do you actually mean by reach, and what do you want to achieve? If you thought the discussion about lenses was interesting, you can see a whole video on lenses right here. And if you thought this video was deserving, give it a like. And I hope you can use these tips the next time you go out to get your own unique and amazing photos. I know you can do it.
You'll be